How many interviews can you film in a day? So we had one of our clients reach out recently. Their executive team was traveling into corporate headquarters locally here in King of Prussia for a big team meeting. And they wanted to know if they could do video interviews with those folks, how many they could get in a day reasonably. So when we think about something like this, there's a bunch of different factors to consider, but I like to sort of just subtract from an 8-hour day, right? So let's start with load in, setup, and breakdown, and lunch, right? These are things that have to happen on every shoot, unless you're doing a multi-day shoot where you can leave things installed and come back the next day, right? So that's one of the factors you need to consider right off the bat. How long is loading going to take? Generally an hour and a half to 2 hours. Breakdowns are usually a little faster, 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the format of your space. And lunch, we like to take about an hour, but we can be flexible with that. That's something you need to think about in terms of when that's happening and how that's happening. The other thing that you need to consider is, are you going to have hair and makeup on set? So if you're going to have hair and makeup, you need to budget in that time for the artist to actually work with each talent to get them set up for the camera and stagger that throughout the day. Now, if you do that right, you're not going to have a ton of overlap except in the morning. And usually that should be happening during setup, but that's another thing to consider. Storytelling in the content, right? So there's a big difference if you're going to have somebody sitting and reading from a teleprompter for a short 30-second excerpt, or you're going to interview them in general in a conversational documentary style format about your overall culture and the trajectory of their career for the last 30 years, right? Those are going to have very different timestamps in sort of their seat time or how long your interviewee is sitting in the chair. So we, on the shorter side, you're going to have about 20 minutes for an interview. On the higher side, as much as an hour per interview. Anything over that, you're going to start to get interviewee fatigue, right? They're just going to get tired for being in that chair. But that's one of the things to consider. You also need to consider the transfer time, right? So there's time that it takes to mic somebody, to sit them, to get them comfortable, to swap them out of the chair for somebody else, right? So factoring all of that in is going to start to pull back from the time available to do these interviews. And the last thing I'll mention in this video is, are we changing backgrounds, right? So if you're going to have one area of the space allocated to the interviews, people can pop in and pop out pretty quickly. But if the requirement is that we're changing the background each time, which is great because it gives everybody their unique space, diversifies the shots so that when you're creating your video, it's more interesting to watch. Well, that's going to take at least 15 minutes to just rotate the camera around and move all the lights around, as much as 30 minutes to an hour to move to another room or location within the building. So all of those things are going to start to subtract from the time you have to do actual interviews. And those are the things you want to consider when you're planning your day. If you like this video, like it. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe, share this with friends, shout it from a mountaintop. Take like one of those things where you take like a picture on your phone, then you send it to Shutterfly, blow it up into a big poster and put it in front of your house. Don't do that. Bye.